Welcome, family, to Thursday, or as we like to say, Friday Eve. I'm your host, Lovely T, your spiritual personal trainer, also known as Trini. I'm here with Maria, Brown Girl Interrupting. How was your evening?
Hey, lovely T. My evening has been beautiful. It's a nice day. It started off a little chilly, and it was nice to have some sunshine at the end. All good things. And it's Friday Eve, right? So can't go wrong with that. How is your evening going?
That's going good. I can't complain. Can't complain.
Okay.
So it's our last show today
Oh,
of the season. We're coming back to you in October. But for today, we're going to end on a good note. We're going to do some recap. Hi, Mr. Jones.
Good
We're
evening.
going to recap a few episodes of the season. And then I'm going to end you on a high note onto how to reboot and reset you.
I love it. I'm ready.
Okay.
I can't believe we've had as many episodes as we have. And we are at the end of season 2.
Yes, we are at the end. We made it this far, Maria.
Success, right? With lots of help from our producer, Ja, and the Ranters Network and the Ranters Union, who always pull up and share in the chat, and they are here engaging. So thank you to everyone that is part of the community.
That's right. We thank you all. Okay, so our first recap will be our first episode, which is Judgment and Emotional Release. Let's see what we got here.
I caught it. You said denial is what's stopping us from growing. That's what I heard.
That's right. See? That's right.
So, okay. So it sounds like we're going to go deep into this. So our judgment and emotional release has to do with our denial?
Yes. Denial is held in place with judgments and emotional control. If you can't oversee or come to an understanding, a factual understanding, logical understanding of your denial, are you going to grow from that? Your judgment, which is negative, no judgment is positive. Your judgment keeps your denial there. You're stuck.
Oh, okay. So I feel like I need to understand more about my judgment and where it's coming from or how it's impacting. How does it make me stuck? Like, I need to understand that, because I think about judgment. I think about so many ways. I'm judging myself? Am I judging others? And how does it keep me stuck?
Okay. So check this out. Your inner conflicts. The inner conflicts that have been keeping you away have been misunderstandings. The inner conflicts that have been keeping you away have been misunderstandings. However, if true understanding is to come to full attention, come to the conflict that is necessary, meaning you have to analyze, you have to understand the conflict in its entirety.
So, okay, I gotta break this down a little bit more, because you go deep, and I'm gonna take it all apart and interrupt it to make it flow in my head, so it's flowing for us all to get that spiritual guidance, right? These misunderstandings are from our denial.
Right.
And that denial is stopping us from understanding our misunderstandings, which means, if I'm hearing you right, and you tell me, that we're not really getting to the root of what's stopping us from not having judgment and growing, because we don't really understand denial the way we need to.
Exactly. Okay.
I
Stop it there.
I love it.
Okay. I love it.
So that was a nice topic for our first episode, judgment and emotional release. What was your take on that? Now that we have gotten this far with our understanding and some growth, what is your take on that?
So I love that you found that clip for a couple of reasons. One of which is that we're going to see the evolution of our looks coming out, I think, and our spaces, but also that evolution of our thinking, right? So like when I remember that moment, and I remember I was very confused. I was really grappling. Like, that is genuine confusion on my face of trying to figure out exactly what you meant. But now, like, now that I'm looking at it, and now after all this work and all these conversations, like exactly what you said, Trini, is I think like it makes more sense to me, right? Like, it is that I wrote down, it's like, it's really that what we're talking about when we're talking about denial is a misunderstanding of ourselves, because we're judging ourselves. We're not looking at ourselves in a logical way. We're not really understanding what it is we need to know about ourselves. So we deny something that's truth.
Exactly. I love it. So with that being said, we should not judge. We need to be open. But if you find yourself having a hard time of not judging or always in the judgment zone, let's take a step back. Let's do some breathing and let's figure it out. So moving on to the next episode, which was wasted energy. Check out this next clip. This is for the individual. If you notice, it's always about you. It's always going to be about yourself. We're not channeling other people's stuff. Goodbye. We channeling ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about wasted energy, what are you thinking about?
The exhaustion I feel after it. Or because that's for real, right? Wasted energy, I think like it can become like emotional. It can physically drain you. Like, it's just like there's so many different ways I've wasted energy, and it takes you away from like your path, whatever your path of growth is, or your path of like of development. I feel like I stagnate when I waste energy.
Oh, okay. And you should, because if energy is being wasted, that means you have none left.
Yeah.
Or
for the important stuff.
Right? So there's 4 ways we can refer to energy, right? 4 types of energy. Can we guess what those 4 are? I'm sure we can. Physical, spiritual, mental, and the big one that we need to learn how to control, emotional.
Oh, yes.
See? Energies.
That's the one.
That's right. All of those are energies that we need to learn how to control, have a little self-discipline, all that good stuff. So I hear you. I heard the breath. What you about to say?
You got it, right? So I got it, but let's see. Like, so I think I know what those 4 are, but I feel like we need a little bit more of a breakdown on, like, when you say emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual, maybe everybody's not on the same page into what that means. So how would you break those 4 down?
I got you. Okay, so before the breakdown, let's talk about energy itself. Everything in the universe is made up of energy, right? So what you involve yourself in, what you surround yourself around, those are energies as well. We pick up and choose the type of energies we want to be around. I know There cannot be someone that did not say this line. Everyone has at least said it. I ain't got time to be around them. I don't feel like dealing with them today. They're going to take up all my energy. You know how long it takes me to talk to them? Oh, they are exhausting. I know. One of those phrases had to come out your mouth at least once. At least once. At least once. And why? Why do you feel that? Why do you say that? Why are those thoughts surrounding you, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do I have to figure out? Oh, I'm sorry. So I got to ask though, right? Because you said, why do I feel that? Why do I think that, right?
Right.
Why do I feel that? Why do I think that? Like, what is it that, why am I picking up on those energy? How am I taking it in? And why is it impacting me so much that I'm like, stay the fuck away, right? Like, so what is it?
That's the why. Your energy level might be here, but every time you go around said person, it comes down to here. Or every time you be in a certain environment, it may go up. It may come down.
So what you're saying, and we'll break it down a little bit more for myself here. It sounds like people can either feed our energy or steal our energy.
Ooh, yes. That is
right. Let's stop it right there.
As a matter of fact, my next line was okay. So we all learned that we don't have time to waste our energy. That was a very necessary episode because we tend to be around people, be in certain environments that we don't want to be in. That's wasting energy. That's pulling you down. That is allowing vampires to clinch on because you already is in anguish or in a feeling of not being in this environment or being around a person. So what is your take on this episode?
So it is so interesting that you chose this clip, Trini, because, and I must say, y'all, Trini quotes all these trips. This is all like surprise for me. So
she knows none of what she's about to see.
I know nothing. But I think it's fascinating. It's interesting because literally today I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine at work, and we were talking about this idea of just, I was sharing with him, I was like, I'm really mindful of my energy. I'm mindful of how much I give to others and how much I can give to others. And what I've noticed is that because of these conversations, because of that conversation particularly, right, I was starting to really check in on myself more with my energy and when I, like, who I allowed in that space. And not even like in a bad way. Sometimes I think our energy has to be reserved just because, you know what, like, I love you as a friend, but what you are holding right now that you want me to also carry, I don't have the bandwidth for. And so making that decision for myself has recently, in the last few months since that episode, has helped me to actually really take care of my own emotional needs in a way that I never did before. And I actually wrote a post about it. So you inspired my writing, and you inspired my my like ability to recognize that it's okay to reserve my energy and to recognize what energy I want around me. So like that clip just like brought it all back, which was awesome. But I want to ask, like, for you, Trini, I'm curious to know, like, if these conversations change or impact the way you see any of these items, because I know you're coming with all the knowledge and you're coming with all the language and the vocabulary, but like, are you evolving and adapting and changing in these conversations in your understanding of things as well?
I'm always evolving through conversations. Before I even picking these topics, I've already started over. I have the experience of failing. I had the experience of living a life that I didn't want to. And so change was necessary. And I went through every single thing you can name, did, done. And again, instead of that person out there that might don't have the finances to get a high-paying therapist or coach or whatever it may be, I gave shortcuts. Because it took me a long time, as I explained on your show, it took me a long time to get to where I'm at. And I'm like, I think I can help others get there faster. So, and with me doing that and sharing it on this platform, through conversations with you, through conversations with the chat, I grew through the conversations as well. You know, so I'm always growing. I'm always evolving.
I love that. And I think that's so important when we talk about spiritual work, because there's no arrival. It's a journey of constant evolution and constant discovery.
That's right. That's right. So this next episode was thoughts of betrayal. Check it out. Good stuff. So let's define betrayal first. Let's do that. The Webster Dictionary defined betrayal as the act of betraying someone or something, or the fact of being betrayed by violation of a person's trust or confidence of a moral standard. The second one, revelation of something hidden or secret. That is the definition of betrayal.
Oh, okay. So violation of trust and hiding in secrets is betrayal too. You know what? So it makes me think there's just so many different ways you can betray someone or even yourself, which I'm imagining we're going to talk about, because it's not just being betrayed, it's betraying yourself too, right?
That's right. That is
right. Okay.
So that we all can be on the same page, I just thought I'd share what we like to call some synonyms with y'all. Backstabbing, disloyalty, double cross, falseness, sellout, and unfaithfulness. Synonyms, same meaning, but different word. Antonyms, this is what it's not. Faithfulness, fidelity, loyalty, steadfastness, and devotion. That's what it's not. So now that we got that lined up, we got the definition, we got some wordplay going on.
Hey, Brandy, we see you in there.
How are you? Now that we have that in place, let's have a conversation, shall we?
Okay, but before we do, I got to say, when you were saying those synonyms and antonyms, I was getting triggered. Like, just the word betrayal is like, when I was thinking about this podcast, I was really feeling like this, like feeling of like, it's a strong word. It's a strong word, and it evokes really strong emotions. And every synonym you said was like more strong emotion throughout, right? Like, but then the difference is when you started saying the antonyms, I could feel like my heart rate go down a little bit, right? Like it was like, those are the words that give you calm and give you ease. So I'm just thinking about that, because that's how powerful the word itself is and everything associated with it.
Correct. I like your thoughts. Thank you, Brandy.
We love you.
We rock because of y'all.
Yes, we do.
So, okay. Now, it's interesting that you said that, with how the words make you feel certain emotions and it triggers certain things, because betrayal is based off of a deep emotion. So the question of, do you feel betrayed and why? Let's see. What do you think about this phrase I'm about to say? You cannot be betrayed by someone you do not trust.
All right, hold on. You cannot be betrayed by someone you do not trust. So if I don't, there's a lot of negatives, double negatives. Okay, hold on. So if I don't trust them, then they're not capable of betraying me. So betrayal has to come with trust, is what you're saying? And without trust, there's no betrayal?
I would reckon so. Why? Okay.
So is it that it doesn't feel like betrayal if there's no trust? It just feels like it's something that upsets you, but it's not betrayal because you didn't trust someone to begin with.
Yes, because when we go back to the definition, the act of betraying someone or something, or the fact of being betrayed by violation of a person's trust or confidence of a moral standard.
Okay. A violation of trust or confidence of a moral standard. So Brandy's saying she's agreeing with what we just said.
Okay.
And Just One Love, welcome. It's nice to see you here. That's true. You agree too. Okay. So we got agreement.
So,
hey, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
I trust people to be who they show me they are. That's true. But what if they break your trust? And like you said, right? There's a violation of trust. So what do we do now? What's betrayal?
So it's not about what we do now. It's more so you got to dig deeper. We got to dig deep. And the reason why you cannot be betrayed by someone you don't trust. Think about it. If a stranger did something, you don't know them, so you don't expect nothing of them. Your expectations is none. You have none. But if someone you expect them to understand the boundaries you may have set. You may expect them to understand that if you love someone or if you love me, you wouldn't do certain things to break my trust. So when betrayals happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
You feel it. It's deep down. A stranger can't make you have a strong emotion of loss because betrayal is loss. You lost something.
Okay, so you broke down a lot of really specific things that I think connect to the idea of how do we know when it's betrayal, right? You said there has to be trust, there's expectations, and there's a loss. So all of that goes into the idea of I'm feeling betrayed because I trusted someone. I had expectations with that trust.
Right.
And now that trust has been broken, those expectations have not been met. And in fact, the opposite of the expectations, right? Like they've been shattered. I've lost something. That's why it's betrayal. That's why it hurts so deeply because I've lost something. You've taken it from me because you're the one who betrayed me.
Right. Because it was an act now. He or she had a choice. And they chose and made that choice, whatever it was that may have made you feel that way. They may not even know that, though.
Okay, we can stop it right there.
Oh, first mistake. Just One Love says, first mistake we made was to have expectations.
Okay. So, that was a good one. It was hard to stop it.
That was a good one.
Good evening. Sean,
good evening,
you had a debut on there.
There you go, right? Exactly that. Fake ass MFs is another.
Okay,
Ooh.
so
Ooh, Trini,
go ahead.
that one was good, but ooh, that one was hard to watch. You know, it's funny because for me, this these shows have been a spiritual journey of me processing my life in real time. um and where I was when that episode was episode 3, was that like, it was like September, October. It was when
October.
life was like falling apart around me, and I remember like that. And it's crazy because it's like opening a time capsule, because I just like, at all those chills, I got like chills as I was listening to it. I got chills as I heard the word betrayal again. Like, it just like triggered all this stuff, but at the same time now, it like, I didn't stay there. And I
Mhm.
remember I was in there for a while. Like, after that show, I remember I sat in that for a long time and really thinking about that impact of betrayal and trust and the connections between all of that. Um, and and you know, now I'm not. And I think it goes back to what Just One Love said, right? Like she said, no expectations. Just like in the comment, right? And
That's right.
now that my expectations are different and I have none, I I am much more cautious about my trust, right? And where I put it. And therefore that betrayal is a little less in my life, or at least as far as I know, right?
That's right.
Right, you know, but I think like that, like the words were still really powerful, and that hasn't changed. The words still got me goosebumps. They got me like feeling away, and it's, yeah, it's hard to listen to a little bit. I don't know. I mean, you know, when you heard it, what were your thoughts?
Well, being in that place and unlearning um the betrayal, because I had to unlearn what I thought betrayal was and how it came about and all this good stuff. Um, but hearing it again, it does bring up some old triggers, and it's like, that's why I don't do that no more. That's why I say that. Almost, it goes back to like what you were saying with the trust. I just recently did a post, and you hopped on it. I did a post about trust, about how you're supposed to make people earn your trust. It should not start, because I used to let it start at 100. Okay, I trust you off the break, and you have to do something to make that number decline. No. Now you have to earn to make that number go up, because now I got to see where our relationship is going to kick off, or where we might have trouble. This time I can pay attention, and I can wean out if I need you in my circle or not, so that there won't be any betrayals. Because good, loyal friends, you don't have to worry about betrayal. Good, loyal family, you don't have to worry about betrayal. You know what I'm saying? So make people earn your trust. That's right. Trust must be earned. Make people earn
Exactly.
your trust.
Welcome, Just One. And so, you know, and I think like it's interesting because so where I was and where I am, right? I've entered recently the dating pool again. And like and this idea of trust and betrayal is always in the back of my mind now because of experiences, right? Like, and so I like what you said is everybody has to earn your trust. Like that has really stayed with me, right? And I think I'm approaching everything very differently, as no one just gets it anymore, right? Like it is earned. And that's it's important to recognize like where that learning came from, because it is an unlearning for me, because I was one of those people who just trusted. Like I trusted that people were going to treat me the way I treat them, right? I trusted
Because
that I
that's
was.
how we were raised. Treat people how you want people to treat you. But what they fail to realize is, yes, you want people to treat you the way you want to be treated, but you should not expect people to treat you the way you treat others, because you can't control them. You can't control the outcome. And everybody is their own person, so they make their own decisions.
Yeah. And you can't have expectations for them because they are them, right? Like, I think that's that. And that was a piece of the learning. The piece of learning was letting go of, so if you don't put that pressure of expectation on someone, then they can't betray you because you had no expectation of something that can be betrayed, right? Like,
Right.
you just are, they just are.
Right. Instead of it being betrayal, you can look at it as, I ain't like that shit. I ain't messing with you no more. It'd be just that easy, because betrayal holds an imprint on you. Yeah. Whether other than, having a recycle bin, because I ain't like that shit. Dismiss, move on. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different way in your thinking that should be happening. Just Love said, family and friends have betrayed my trust without them even knowing. I know they have betrayed me. And that's another
a
thing.
Big one.
That's another thing. And I'm assuming because you knew that, you just backed off. And they probably don't know why, but they probably could assume you might know. But they don't have a justification of it because you didn't approach them with it. With that being said, I know now how to handle that particular person. There you go. It's something that I preach all the time. And Maria, I say never overfill somebody's cup. If they is an 8-ounce cup, that's all the liquid you putting in there, 8 ounces. Don't be trying to upgrade them to 12, knowing that all that extra upgrade expectations, boundaries is going to spill over that 8 ounce. Come on now. Don't do it.
No. And then, most importantly, yours is depleted. And so I think what's interesting is that, and this is kind of how our shows have been, is that they build on each other, because that wasted energy and betrayal are so connected. Because one of the ways that I'm no longer betrayed is that I don't waste my energy.
There you go.
I give exactly what I need to give, and that's it, right? And nothing more, nothing overfilling, nothing more than what's deserved, right? What's up, family? What's up, Living Ishay Reviews?
What's up, Ishay Reviews? Check him out. He comes on. Put your time and information up on your channel, Ishay. Okay, so that was a good episode, y'all. Y'all should check it out.
Whew, that was a trigger episode. But do check it out. Do check it out.
Yeah, do check it out. So the next episode, we talked about the root of evil. Let's see what this root of evil is about. Check it out. Right.
So are there other ways that we can do that? So you talked about changing mindset. I talked about environment. What other things could do that?
Well, let's say if you have accepted the common belief that stress, which is anger, fear, worry, grief, loss, whatever, are natural and avoidable reactions to life challenges. You see that? Key. Avoidable reactions to life challenges. And if you have accepted the educated, ignorant proclamation that things and events can be stressors, and you are engaged in a protracted situation to which you are manifesting one or several emotions throughout the day, every day, or several days of the week, then you are suffering from an excess of cortisol. Sounds like what you were through for those 17 years you was
right, because the situations and the things and the experiences were impacting that cortisol release.
That's right.
All right.
So the dangers of this excess cortisol. So y'all can know that I'm not just trying to feed y'all a bunch of I really want you to know how to stop stressing.
Well, you said because it's the root of all evil, right? Like so if it's the root of all evil, it means that it's probably one of the causes of so many problems that we have that we don't even identify and recognize are stress related. And we think it's the problem, but it might be how we're taking that problem in.
That's
Is that right?
That is so true. The dangers of having excess cortisol over an extended period of time, for a long time, you can develop health disorders. As you mentioned, you was in the ER a couple of times, but I'm just going to name a few of the disorders that you can develop just off of stress. Okay, so irregular heartbeat. You never thought about that. Okay. Increased risk for an incidence of cardiovascular, of course, heart attack, strokes.
Right.
Of course, your appetite is going to change. It's not going to, your food cravings going to change. You're going to gain weight. You're going to lose muscle mass. So if you got a body, bones, aches, and pains, that's stress because of loss of calcium. You'll have menstrual disorders, ladies, painful cramps. If some of y'all having those, you're going to have to calm off of that stress. You'll have anxiety, irritable. You'll be so irritable. And you'll have a high level of sensitiveness. You'll be very sensitive. Stress makes you very sensitive. Like anything, if you're really pissed off, anything could just make you go haywire if you already at that level. So that's how sensitive. Right. And of course, negative moodiness, depression, sad, your digestive system. Can't have a bowel movement, stomach hurt, you can't really eat.
Okay, so all right, Virginia Slim said this is real talk. I recently had to take a family member to the ER due to high levels of stress. Yes, and I am sorry for that, but that is so true, right? Like stress and I think bringing up COVID was important because the stress that people are under right now in the last 2 years has been something at a different level. A different level for sure.
Very different level. Speaking of which, stress increased the rate of destruction of brain cells, leading to brain shrinkage, Alzheimer. So if you can't remember stuff, you're forgetting too much, it's time. You got to release some of this stress. Okay? I'm going to need y'all to do it for me. I need y'all to be around. Hey.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
we can stop
all
it
right. There's Living Ishay. What's up? Welcome.
Okay, so before I go into that clip, the question in the beginning, when I asked Maria, what do you think the root of all evil is? Her answer was sugar. And I was like, yes, no, but yes, it could be the root of all evil. Yeah, brain shrinkage. Stress can cause so much things. Stress is so dangerous. So if you find yourself stressing, I need you all to figure out what it is stressing you, why it's stressing you, so that we can find solutions to get rid of the stress. So with that being said, Just Love say stress has affected everyone living, especially after COVID quarantine. That is so true.
Yeah.
What's your take on it, Maria?
So okay. This is how I relieve stress is comedic relief. So first off, I want to say two things. One is You got some fly looks going on there, lovely T. And we cannot watch all these time capsule episodes and not recognize all the looks that have been going on between the two of us. Like it really is a progression. Just saying. And the other thing is I can see how like we've had the same audience coming in and supporting us, which is awesome. Just One Love, Shan P, Virginia Slim, Living Ishay Reviews, like all our friends are in the chat and with us from the beginning to the end, and like beginning of the season to the end all the way here. So I just want to say salute, because I think that's just awesome to see. And so I think for me, yeah, like okay, so now I know it's not sugar. Right? Lesson learned. But it's stress, right? And I think in that episode I remember talking about how I internalize it and I don't realize I'm even stressed until my body tells me I'm stressed. So I have since then been so much more in tune with my body, so that I am aware of when stress is beginning to occur and start nipping it in the bud, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. So I recognize that when my body is fighting against me, it's generally because there's actually something emotionally and mentally that I'm not addressing. But which is great, like, which is again, evolution and like learning that comes from these conversations. Which I'm hoping everybody is reflecting on for themselves as you're our audience and you're thinking about these things. But Trini, I got to ask you a question, because I think when it comes to stress, if it is the root of all evil, right? It is not just about identifying it, but it's also having like a way to interrupt that stress. And so what has helped you the most in terms of being able to address those moments that could potentially be stressful for you, that you're able to find your center and not allow the stress to overcome you?
Taking time out. The moment I feel like I'm about to be anxious, or I'm about to have anxiety, or I'm about to get nervous, or I'm about to get upset, or something is really going to aggravate me, I have to take a time out, because I got to figure out where it's coming from. Once I figure out where it's coming from, then I can think about why, what, when, who, where. I can think about all of those aspects to figuring out why am I stressing over this issue, problem, person, idea, or thing, right? So having that answer to that allows me to act accordingly without reacting and making mistakes. So taking the time out for me has always worked. And if I take a time out and I'm still angry, I got that bag right there. I got another bag. I got Bob. I take it out on working out. I take it out on meditation. I take it out on just breathing.
I love it.
And being in a calm space. Yeah.
And I think that's great, because Just One Love, the question you have is, how do you figure out your stresses? So those are the things, right? Like you really listen to yourself, you listen to your body. You have to be still to recognize where those stresses are coming from. And Trini just lifted some really good questions to ask again. Yes, thank you. Say those questions again, Trini, please, about the timeouts, because those are helpful to do, like that script in your head. So Trini, you said there are questions you ask yourself about stress to identify it. What were they?
So you go with the 5 W's, which we know is who, what, when, where, why. Sometimes how, right? And once you ask those questions, you think about it. You got to answer each one honestly. Even if you're the culprit of your situation being bad and you're stressing, you have to really answer that. You have to take that time out before you react, because if you don't take a time out, you're reacting, and reactions are not always good, because reaction is just a reflex of whatever you want to do that might not be so good to do.
Yeah, reactions are bad.
Right.
We're being reactive.
Right. So just answering those questions. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes how. I switched it up.
I love it.
I
And
say it
depending,
different. But what you're saying is right. Sometimes I know I say it different. I say the 5 W's and sometimes how. Yeah. What you was about to say?
so well, and I think like it depends on the moment, right? Like which questions you have to ask, right? You got to think about what it is that's going on with the stress. I just want to point out one thing. Look, I'm comic relief today. Bob is not an actual person, just so y'all know, because I know she mentioned I got Bob over here to take my stress out on.
Which way I gotta go? Not that way.
No,
That's
it's
Bob.
this way. That's Bob.
That's Bob.
I just feel like we needed some clarification. She's not beating up some neighbor named Bob or anything, like clearly.
I'm not beating up an actual Bob.
No.
So we have episode 5, and we're talking about what are you hearing that I'm not saying. Check this clip out. What are you hearing that I'm not saying?
Okay.
So
I know this feeling.
Yeah. So apparently we may have some barriers in our listening skills. I'm just saying, are we listening correctly? There's times I know I have to catch myself because I'm like, oh, gotta focus. It's a lot to do when you're listening. You're not born a listener. It's a skill, baby. You gotta practice it.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And sometimes people are just listening to wait to respond too, right? So there's a whole lot of issues with listening that happen.
There's a whole lot of issues. So many things get in the way of our listening, correct? To become more effective, we must become aware of our barriers and bad habits. So the philosopher Albert Elliot, he himself did some research. And one of the barriers he came across was listening to more than one voice at a time. Us and them.
So our barrier is that we're not capable of listening to ourselves and the other person at the same time?
Maybe. It depends.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued. I want to know more.
Okay. So before I give my opinion, let's see what he had to say. Prioritizing what someone is actually saying to you is tricky in this noisy and busy world. We're always receiving emails, texts, phone calls, and notifications when we're out and about, or even just home with a friend, family member, or partner. When we are distracted with all the other noises around us, we can fall into a bad habit of listening to our own thoughts more than what's being said to us. Because of this, we fall into a trap of listening more to give a response than to listening to hear and understand what someone is saying. This isn't a dialogue, but a disguised monologue.
Ooh, I've never heard that one before. A disguised monologue. That is truly what it is, right? When we're not listening to understand. It makes me think of this quote that I've heard before and we use sometimes when we're having dialogue and trying to create dialogue in my job is, can you suspend your own belief to hear someone else's truth? Can we suspend our own beliefs? Because that is what listening is, right? We're listening to them, not listening for us.
Right. I feel as though we can suspend it. We have to get rid of those limited beliefs that makes us not be able to be open, though.
But so before we get into how, can we cover what's the impact of not listening? I'm curious to know what the issues are, because we're talking about spiritual healing, right? So what's the impact when we don't listen like that comes about in our relationships and our dynamics?
So it's not so much about what the impact is. It's about overcoming these barriers in order to even acknowledge how to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, okay, well, in order for me to know where the error is, in order for me to have that ending result that I need to do some research first. So we're going to dive into some more barriers. And it might answer that question you got. As a matter of fact, all of them coming is the answer to that question.
Makes sense. Okay. Our barriers are our impact, right? They're all connected.
That's right. So the next one is finding the communicator attractive and over-connecting with them.
Over-connecting. Tell me more about over-connecting. How is that a barrier?
Okay, so attraction isn't always about physical appearance. It can also relate to what is being communicated. Conversations can open up to us being emotional, physical, and spiritual attraction and chemistry with another person. While it's needless to say that this is incredibly inappropriate in a professional context, it's also a bad habit to fall into regularly because it usually leads to daydreaming or fantasizing about the person you're talking to rather than listening to what they have to say.
Okay, so what I heard, and you can clarify for me, because I heard two things. I heard one, that there's attractiveness, like I am overly drawn to your looks and therefore enamored, and I am like not really focusing on anything you're saying because I'm enamored by you, right? or maybe I'm just not really listening to you because I'm just like stuck in what I think I want to come from this, right? But then it also sounds like I can be enamored by your words that I'm not really listening to what they are, and I'm agreeing with you without really having an understanding of what you're saying.
Because you have that attraction. Like you could be so into the accent, or you could be so into their lips because they talking. They could have perfect teeth or whatever it could be. Their voice could be just beautiful to you. And instead of you listening to them, you go into a daydream of, oh, you're so beautiful. You start fantasizing.
Yeah.
And then,
okay, we can stop it there.
It turns into an attraction instead of, what? Let me listen to what you got to really say. I'm interested in what you're saying, not the other features that's making me attract to what you're saying.
So, and that's interesting because I think, hello, lovely ladies. It's Brandy here with us.
Okay. So that was good. Why you're not hearing what I'm saying? Are you listening to me? What's making you not listen to me? What's going on in your mind that's making you not listen to me? So Sean P said the impact of not listening is these hands. Wake up and listen. Most of moms used to say a hard hand makes a soft ass. That is so true. That is so true. So have you ever experienced, Maria, talking to somebody that you're attracted to and you can't pay attention to what they're saying?
Yes. Yes. I have had those moments where like my brain is going a whole nother direction than the words of the person, right? Like and I'm not paying attention to the words. But you know, it's funny though, because what I was thinking is that can also go the other way, in that like it's the attractiveness that's almost an illusion that someone can create, like cult leaders. Like I was thinking of this idea of cult leaders when I was watching it just now, which is a different place to go, but that's what it reminded me of, right? Is that's kind of it, right? Like because they're so charismatic, they're so like, and many of them attractive people, right? Like, and they have this way of drawing people in, that those individuals are enamored by them, that they don't actually critically think about the words they're saying and whether or not those words even make sense, right? Okay, so Ranters Union says, no, that's the right place to go, BG. Right, like you were thinking it too, John, weren't you? That's exactly it, right?
Great minds think
cult
alike.
leaders. Straight cutlers, right? Like it, that's it. Like you're, you know, whether it's your King Kong deliciousness, right? And it's Omar Johnson, right? Like whatever it is, it is something that like you're not thinking clearly. So it's like it's really dangerous, because the lack of your listening either makes you say things where you're not really understanding what someone else is saying, or it makes you blind to what you're actually hearing, that can be dangerous for you.
Very dangerous.
Right. Okay. So Jazz says Nature Boy and Daddy's Girl's cult from TikTok. I don't know Daddy's Girl. I may have to check that one out. But yes, Nature Boy is the one I was thinking of too, right?
Okay, so listening is a skill. It takes a skill to do some good listening. So if you hard of hearing out there, I need y'all to check your listening skills. There are things you can do to get those skills up. So on the next episode, we talk about what Mario always bring up in every episode. What the ego. Check out this clip. Let's define it first. Make sure we all on the same page, right? Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, so the ego is the self, you, especially as contrasted with another self or the world. It's individuality or separatedness. We got that?
Okay. I'm thinking.
So just also to let you know, there's 3 types of egos. They all live within you. We have the child.
Okay.
The child, which is considered your ID. This is your identity, your learning stages. So you have your child ego. And with this ego, behavior, thoughts, and feelings is replayed from childhood. Okay? Then you go into your ego, which is yourself as an adult, your main ego. And that is behavior, thoughts, and feelings, which are in direct response to the here and now, your present, what you got going on with you right now, right? And then we got this super ego. That's the parent.
It's got to be a super, right?
That's the parent. That's the parent, okay? Keep that in mind. Parent is the super ego. And
wait, hold on. So wait, does that mean super ego is my parent, or it is the parent of all the egos?
It's the parent of all of the super egos.
Okay.
And with that, behavior, thoughts, and feelings copied from parents or parental figures.
Oh, so it's like I have the range of me as a child, me as a grown adult or adulting, whatever stage I'm in, right? And then I have me and my parents' relationship. So all these egos exist at the same time inside me?
Yes, they do.
That's why they take up so much damn space.
Yes. That's why you act different on certain days. That's why you got certain temperaments, certain attitudes, and all that derives from your beliefs. But if you have I'll give you some examples. If you have like a childlike ego, then you could be, and this is when I'm saying think of conflict. Okay. If you have a childlike ego, you could be anxious, arguing, arrogant, awkward, confused, defensive, moody, pouty. If you have a adult ego during a conflict, and you're more alert, you're capable, clear-headed, you're efficient, you're fair-minded, you're rational, you're realistic, you're unemotional. Now, when you go into that super ego, you bossy, you're demanding, intolerant, opinionated, prejudiced, rigid, severe. I can go on.
Okay. Yeah. So then depending, it's all contextual. So whatever context you're in, whatever experience you're having, that's which ego is going to come out. Now, does it determine also like how that ego comes out, like in terms of this is where like childhood traumas or like any experiences you have impact how those egos are coming out also?
Yes. I'm glad you asked that, because it all begins with you, right? The ego is the self. The self is you. So you have to, again, understand, recognize, and be aware of how you are, what you respond, how you respond, you know, all those good stuff. But that's when you come Palmer Studios super ego. They all
live in you.
They do. So I'm going to give you some background to what you just asked.
Okay. We can stop it there.
Let's think of fulfillment.
Okay. What the ego? Your favorite word. Ego. It's another one I'm gonna get to. So now that we're here now. Made it from the bottom, now we're here. Okay, so we here now, right? What you feel about the ego
now? So in that moment in that show, what I remember is I was thinking about everybody else's egos. I was not thinking about my own, and I was not seeing myself in it. And I remember I even wrote a post after that one called Lego My Ego. But since then, I have actually done quite a bit of evolution, I think, on that, in that like I started to see my super ego. And I like have been digging into that super ego moments of that controlling, that need for, you know, directing things, a little bit of, you know, overpowering, and I see it differently, right? But like at that moment, that was one thing that stood out to me. I was like, oh, I remember that, because I was like, I was totally thinking about everybody else's egos. I did not put myself in that situation at all. And now I'm like, oh yeah, now I see how my ego has been really dangerous for me. and others.
I was about to say, because you did not put your ego there, where was your ego at that moment? Was you in the super ego? Because you wasn't putting yourself. I don't have an ego, but I know a lot of people that do, and I'm thinking of everybody that got this damn super ego that I can't deal with, but you wasn't putting yourself in it.
Definitely, it was in my super ego. Definitely, I was in my super ego. That was not one of my finest moments. So yeah, that was my super ego for sure. And I was very oblivious to it.
We all step in and out of those egos. We all do. So let's go on to the next episode. Let's check out this clip. what is your attachment style?
So that's an interesting question.
But before we get to that, let's define attachment. Okay? So with attachment, the definition from Webster, attachment means a feeling that binds onto a person, thing, cause, idea, or the like, devotion, or regard. All those things can have attachment. It's not just a person. You could be attached to anything. You could be attached to an idea. And that idea could be someone that may have convinced you to do something. It could be as simple as that. It could cause an attachment. It can cause you to be like, oh, well, I'm going to start doing that. And you become attached to doing that. Right? So go ahead.
Well, so now I'm curious to know, though, because that word really, like, it triggered me. It said, when your feelings that bind you, binding is such a strong word. It feels like this pull that, like, you can't let go of. When you're bound to something, you can't disconnect. Right. But I don't think, and you're going to have to tell us, but do all attachment styles have that lack of disconnect?
All but one. Because there are 4 attachment styles. And one is a secure attachment, and the other 3 are insecure attachments. So, with me just saying that, those other 3 can be the disconnect. But before we go deep into each one of those and what they are, what is your attachment style? Let me briefly just throw some stuff out there for you. According to Zen Care, because, I'm going to read a snippet of their definition to what they have on here. And, okay, so what are you like in the relationships? Do you tend to worry that your partner is cheating on you just because they haven't answered your texts? Do you maintain a sense of confidence in the face of conflict with others? How do you feel when you're alone? And Maria, I know you remember this. I asked you, do you get along with yourself by yourself? Can you be can you be alone? So how we relate to other people generally reflects how we connect with our early caregivers, meaning your parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever took care of you and was in your life majority of your childhood. That's where you picked up your principles, right? So your attachment style is how you routinely interact, connect, and engage with the people around you. It describes how you emotionally react to the behaviors of other people. It describes how you emotionally act to the behaviors of other people. These reactions are often a habit or a pattern that's difficult to change, as they seem to happen immediately without thought.
Well, so it sounds like we're going into our subconscious thinking. So these attachments may not be conscious behaviors that we have, but rather they're subconsciously happening because we are drawing on experiences that we don't even realize we're thinking about when it comes to childhood. Like, I don't think about my childhood connections when I'm thinking about my current relationships, right? It's rarely something people do unless if you're truly in tune with yourself, right? It takes a while to get to that point.
Right. That's when you are aware of your triggers and how they became. And by that point, if you're aware of it, you should know how to either control it if you can't get rid of it, or direct it to where though it's positive.
Hello, Kennedy. Okay, we can stop it there.
It's good to see you in the chat.
All right. So we learned some attachment styles. And if you want to know what those attachment styles, go check out that video. So Maria, that was a good one as well.
That was actually really interesting, because I think that's a conversation that's going around a lot on social media, these ideas of attachment styles and the impact they have on dynamics with others. Because I think what we talked about in the episode, which I really liked, is how different attachment styles are drawn to each other too, right? And what that impact is when you have two people with very different attachment styles in a dynamic, whether it's relationship or friendship or whatever it is, right? And it's interesting, because now I'm thinking too, like that was something like it woke something up in me that now I recently, I think it was like yesterday, I was watching something and someone was talking about the idea of detachment. So we're talking about attachment, right? But the idea of detachment is that we sometimes convince ourselves that it's detaching ourselves, like separating and like isolating yourself from others. But it's actually the idea of being within things, but not attaching yourself to them. So you can be in a relationship with someone, you can be in a friendship, but you're not attached to that person.
That's one of the attachment styles, though, too.
That's the secure one, right? That's exactly it.
One of them, or maybe two of them, was a detachment characteristic in it. Yeah. Good observation. I like it. So, just rushing along, because we're a little over time, but so last episode, I want to have some fun with y'all. Okay, so let's check out this next clip while we shouldn't give a fuck.
So I'm going to put this out to both of you. What are some of the ways that you have been able to take out the outside forces and be really objective about yourself, to see your flaws, your challenges, the places you needed to grow?
Well, with me, the one thing that I realized was I had told that victim story for so long that it was a programming. So it was my reflex to say it. So one of the things that I was brought to was what I was saying. And what I noticed what I was saying involved me. So when I would say certain things, and I'm now in this position because since it's my season, it was my student season. So when you're in your season, you get brought to where you're supposed to be. You understand what I'm saying? So being that it took a made up mind. First of all, you got to have that made up mind. You got to know this is what you want to do. So when I was brought to that season, the first thing I paid attention to was my programming and what I rehearsed, my rehearsing, the things that I always said, the things that I felt that made me the victim. So when I began to look at it, it was crazy, because what she just said was the next step for me was the mirror work. So when I looked in the mirror, I talked to me. And one thing that is not going to happen, your eyes cannot look in your soul and let you lie to it, because you're going to be uncomfortable when you're looking in that mirror and you're about to talk through a mask when there's nothing but your truth, because that's digesting in you. So when you're about to sit here and open your mouth and say something that you've been telling these people, yourself know you lying. You understand what I'm saying? So when I went to repeat those same stories in the mirror, it kicked back all me. It kicked back my whole story. So it made me eliminate. It literally highlighted the words that I said, because my soul is talking to me now, because I'm looking at it. So as I'm speaking to the mirror, it's kicking back me. So I'm seeing me in all these situations. And I had to go back and sit down with it. And when I had that aha moment, and when I realized I lost all my jobs because of my attitude and all this other stuff, and I really had to look at it, then I realized, wait a minute, this was me. Oh, snap. I've been telling it was about life all this time. This is my life. I created this mess. So when I sat with that, I had a wild moment where I was like almost in depression, that I finally realized that I was the culprit the whole time against me. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's when I started to say, wait a minute, what else? Because once that portal of awareness is open, It's open. You can never close it, because now you're going to see you all the time. And the only thing that's going to stop you is the areas that you feel is too strong, so you're going to reject it. But it's going to sit there, because one thing about awareness, once you see it, you're now held accountable. Once you're held accountable, now you will be suffering the consequences behind what you're refusing to acknowledge.
Right, it'll come back. It never goes away.
Yeah, you can charge it to ignorance all you want to, but once you are aware, now you're making the move, because now you want to be who you are. Okay, cool. Life got something for you. Want to be who you are. You understand what I'm saying? So everything about me started getting kicked out by me. However, that was for that season. But I had to go on with the new me and make new problems, new triggers, new things, and then rebuild myself again in another season. But it was all about that first step, though. I had to originally do that first one. So everything about me was illuminated quick, because I had a made up mind. When you got a made up mind and you ask the right questions in the world, come back to you. So
I love that. And you just highlighted exactly what Trini said, right? That you start with your intention, and then you have to do that objective thinking, and you can't lie to yourself. You can't lie to yourself. Like, it's just, I mean, some people do, but I think if you really have an intention of figuring things out and growing and changing, then you can't lie to yourself anymore.
No, you can't. It won't let you. That's going to be very strange.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for sharing that, because I think that's real powerful for so many people who are listening and trying to figure out for themselves, where do I start even, right?
Right.
Trini, what were your thoughts on that?
Okay, so, well, for me, I had to grow strength in my own understanding. Instead of hearing other influences, other people's opinions and all that, I had to back up and assess my own opinion. And like G said, I had that aha moment, and it was like, no more of this. What is my position in where I'm at right now?
Right.
Why am I here? Right. And why do I feel this way? And like he said, because I kept telling the same story. I don't like to hear complaining. So me telling the same story just came out to feel like I was complaining. And I'm telling myself this. Why are you complaining? Because, I stand behind every problem have a solution. Stop complaining. So I had to figure it out. I had to assess myself. I had to step back and be like, all right, ABC, wrong for me, kind of thing. And then I was like, okay, it's time to start disciplining, but we're gonna get to that next. So that we can stop right there. Correct with myself. I had to really be like, okay, this is why I act like this, because
all right. Okay, so that was the wrong episode. That episode was accountability and self-discipline. And it was that was our first guest, and it was a good guest, and it was very, very knowledgeable and very interesting.
G was definitely dropping some facts in there. And I want to say, you started to hear a little bit of Trini's story there, but if you want to hear more of Trini's story and her journey, you really need to check out episode 10 of Pain to Power on my channel and on this channel, from my interview with Lovely T, and learning more about just what brought her on this whole journey of spiritual healing and why she's doing this podcast. So definitely check it out.
So that was amazing. So y'all can check out that.
But I'm gonna tell you, this conversation is based off of a book that I did read called The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And it's by Mark Manson. And so there's also a workbook and everything about this topic. It is very important to why you should not give a fuck on so many levels. It is the year 2022. Let me drop a good gem on you. The spirit this year is the spiritual aspect of this is to improve your focus, in all your dealings to achieve more success in life. That's what this year should be about. Okay? It should be all about your focus.
Mm. Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So, Mario, you have also read this book too, right?
I have, and I will say it was transformational. And the funny thing is that I have been looking at this book for a really long time, and a year into seeing it for the first time at a friend's house, I picked it up and read it myself, and it changed the way I looked at life drastically, and in a really healthy way. Like I felt lighter, I think, after reading it.
Right. It gave you a different perspective on things.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
it made you realize, you know what? I am tripping. What the do I care for? Okay. So here we go. All right. So the first lesson in this book, it talks about daily life can be overwhelming. And the only way people can reduce those feelings is to stop caring. So much about everything that doesn't matter. Focus on what does matter to you and what needs your immediate attention. Right? Okay, so as this lesson explains, the best thing a person can do with their energy, and we spoke about energy, and time is to find the people, places, and or things that are most meaningful and important in their lives. On every path of life, there will be problems that arise. How do you stop caring so much about misfortunes and hardships? You first have to find something that you care about more than the difficult time you are having. You have to find the things that bring meaning to your life. So if you're having a difficult time, you need to find something that brings meaning to your life. When you are able to find the things that bring meaning to your life, then you will be able to overcome the problem better. You will be able to sustain quite a bit of pain and stress because your life still has those things that bring meaning to it. Therefore, it can be said that the way to find happiness is not by caring about everything. Rather, the key to happiness is caring about less and only those things that truly matter. After all, you and every person you have ever known in your life is going to die. Life is short, and people only have a limited number of fucks they can give.
We can stop it right there.
So I like that because that.
I'm actually glad that this was the last episode shown because there is a lot of reasons why we as humans should not give a fuck about certain things in our life, certain aspects. We should not be caring about dumb shit. We should not be caring about shit that don't serve us. If it's not going to help us grow, we should not be caring about it. If it's a negative ass person or situation, we should not be giving it a fuck. Okay? So what was your take on that episode?
I love that. And I think everything you just said is really important. And I love that that's how we started our year, right? That was actually right. That was our first January episode, right? And it was like the year of I don't give a fuck, right? Like
everybody started out like that.
We're taking Shonda Rhimes' the year of yes to the year of I don't give a fuck. And that's exactly what it's been. And I think that has been the most liberating feeling. It's been a tough year for me from January to now. But I have not gotten to those deep, dark places I was in some of those other episodes, I realized, because of not giving a fuck. So yeah, I think it is. Everybody, we really need to all not give a fuck about things. Like we need to let things go. We need to stop being attached, and we need to just kind of, allow for things to exist and allow for us to exist and not try to be and do everything. Because it's killing us.
It's killing us. It is.
It's killing us, it's stressing us. So with that being said, how the hell do we stop giving a fuck? Why? And how can we reboot and restart? It's easy, but it's not easy. The first thing you got to do is want to change. That's the first thing. You got to notice that there's something in you that you need to change. You got to take people out of your life. You got to take people, you have to see your circle for what it is. And you have to assess that. You have to see what's going on in your life. You have to reflect on your current situation. If it's something that you're not liking, something ain't right about this. I know I should be further than this. You need to assess that reason. You need to figure it out. And then you need to decide on your approach about it. Once you do that, you can figure out steps to overcome this situation that you wish to get out, that you wish to change, whether it's your behavior, your finances, your children attitudes, whatever it may be. You can also get rid of things that are weighing you down. So if you know that you need to clean that damn closet out or clean that room up or unclutter some shit, you need to do it. You know why? Because when you declutter, do you know the energy shift? Do you feel that cleanliness? Not just the cleanliness, but the energy is clean. Okay? And that is very important. Also, you need to get rid of people that's not serving you. Okay? Them people that's so toxic. Them people that is so negative. Them people that are Debbie Downers. Them people that talk down and don't believe in your skill or laugh at your skill or the things that you're interested in. Get rid of them because they don't serve you no purpose. They hold you back. Also, we need to let go of thoughts and feelings that weigh us down. If you got a thought in the back of your mind, I'm not too good, get rid of the imposter syndrome. If you got that thought in the back of your mind of what people think, feel, I need you to stop giving a fuck so you can move on, okay? Also, be more grateful. The more grateful you are, the better you will love your life, your circle, your friends, your family, everything that you do. Be grateful, especially if it serves a purpose. The more grateful you are, the more you start noticing about the positive things in your life. Guess what? You don't give a fuck about the negative stuff because you're not paying it no attention. Also, we need to picture what we want in life. Picture it. I need you to just, all right, this is what I want. I want to be this. I want to do that. I want to create this. I want to have that. I want to raise that. Picture it. After you picture it, I need you to set those goals for it and make sure that they are realistic, that you can reach, and measurable, because you got to give yourself a deadline. Otherwise, it's a continuation project until it's done. We ain't got time for that, okay? We don't got time to waste no energy, so set a deadline. Then you got to build your goal into your routine and work on it every day, whether it's a little bit or a lot of it, but work on it every day. I need you to focus on your bad habits so that we can switch those bad habits and change them into positive ones that will also benefit your goal that you need to work on in the future to change your current situation. And last but not least, be kind to yourself. Don't down yourself. Even if you make a mistake or fall, it's okay. Get your ass back up. Don't give a fuck about that. Okay, we're gonna keep moving. I made a mistake, so fuck what? Let me move forward and get what I gotta get. Be kind to yourself. I may have made a mistake, but that's okay. I got this next one. I got this. I'm going to keep moving. You know, be kind and expect to have highs and lows when you're changing, because it's not easy. It's very hard to change, especially as an adult when you've been doing or being in a way for so long. Change is good.
But change is uncomfortable. And
it's uncomfortable.
Painful, but when you come out on the other end, and I'm going to say that all those things you just said are the work that I have been putting in for the last 24 episodes, right? Like, honestly, like I feel like from the fall to now, it's been a lot of really intentional work for me, and the change and the way that I navigate and move through life is so different. And I'm very much at peace, and I'm very grateful, and I'm very grounded in life, that nothing, as you gave me a mantra, nothing can penetrate my aura, nothing can dim my light.
That's
and
right.
I feel like that. And it's funny that I had a conversation with a neighbor today, and he said, because I asked him about his spiritual journey and like what brought him there, and his starting point was, he said he was looking to just find peace, to just be at peace with himself, and that's what started him. So it might be you recognizing what's not working, and it might just be that you want to be at peace and what that feels like, and that might be your starting point and your catalyst to change. But know that we are here on this journey with you. So if you've got questions, or, you just want to reach out, follow us, ask us questions. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're all over. And, Lovely Tea is all spiritual healing. So even beyond that, you've got to go and get to her workshops and get to the contact her on Yomi Chi and learn so much about what you can do to truly hone in on your needs to heal and to get better and to get your place of peace.
Yes, I am a life coach. I do one-on-one sessions, and I'm quite good at healing people. Trust me. With that being said, I would like for you to see my life coaching commercial and also Maria's Pain to Power commercial, and we'll come back to you. We know we got.
Hey yo, I put my all in these lines. Sometimes I find that my rhymes are my concubine. To elevate thoughts of mine, I articulate thoughts of mine.
Sorry. Not that one. Welcome to Bettermindz Life Coaching. What does Bettermindz Life Coaching do? Bettermindz focus on personal, relationships, business, organizing, and wellness development. The personal development mission is to help you overcome mental blocks that you and others have placed on you, while helping you learn new things to strengthen your abilities and become more effective in your everyday life. The relationship development mission is to discover the value between two or more people to establish a common purpose and to gain skills and knowledge to show up as the best, most authentic version of yourself in everyday relationships, whether it is dealing with family, your partner, children, associates, or co-workers. The organizing and cleaning development mission is to help clients identify and acknowledge the factors that contribute to their disorganization to enhance clients' awareness that gives them greater focus and understanding of making a change. The business development mission is to develop a plan of action based on what best matches your goals, personality, and vision. And if you haven't already started a business, we can help you come up with a business to start, as well as get you up and running within 30 days. Wellness development mission is to encourage accountability and motivation to clients with no health problems or different health problems, conditions, and disabilities in order to boost a successful, healthy habit while maintaining a healthy mental, physical, and emotional state. Overall, I am here for you. All you have to do is reach out. So I ask you, are you ready to make that change? And are you ready for the challenge? Contact me at hr@bettermindsmarket.com. Follow me on direct.me, here it is, and you will get all of my handles. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for watching. And remember, in order to become better, you have to better your mind. Thanks for watching.
My world has slowly crumbled around me countless times, and every time I rebuild with the pieces I've been given to birth something so transformational and beautiful that no one else knew might exist before it was shown to them. These moments tend to coincide within my romantic path. The universe has been telling me to focus on the revolution and not romance. It has over time given me the tools, resilience, and light to turn my pain into power. And only now do I see that the key to this always resided in the love and knowing I had in myself, not from the external sources of family or men. The message I have been avoiding might be that my time in this world I had existed in was not to receive love, but to put it out there for others to see, feel, and heal through. Revolution before romance moves pain into power.
So, as we close out, I would like to say a few things. I would like to thank Maria for joining me this season. And it's always fun. Can't wait till the new season comes. And I would like to thank Ja for actually putting together the backgrounds and being our producer. It was fun. I love you guys.
And Maria will still be kicking it off every Sunday with Pain to Power. So let's hear what guests you got going on before we exit.
Thank you. So yeah, lovely T, I gotta say thank you to you. You've been a part of this spiritual journey for me for sure, and the healing. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this show with you. So you are the mind behind the Better Minds. So yeah, so I want to say a couple of things before I talk about my show. I do have a Pain to Power episode coming up this Sunday, and it is going to be an amazing show with Shaharia Johnson, who is a CEO of a nonprofit that works specifically on helping women who have been in domestic abuse relationships. And she really uses arts to be able to help with healing, and does a lot of speaking engagements in order to help others understand what that experience is and how to heal from it, most importantly, right? So it is about pain to power. I want to say just real quick, that commercial that you just saw was also the another element of Lovely T's talents, that she did create that commercial. So I have to give a shout out to you, and a shout out to King Titan Music for the music on that commercial, because that is an original piece that was created by King Titan Music, and all that information and links are, I know, in some of the descriptions below in YouTube. So definitely come though and join me for Pain to Power Leading with Love this Sunday at 9:00 on this channel, as well as Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube, which you want to go and subscribe to and hit the link for, and the Ranters Union and the Ranters Network. So you are going to see us everywhere. We're here every Sunday at 9:00. I'm going to have some amazing guests, and you are going to learn so much about other individuals who are healing themselves and finding their power, as well as helping others heal. So come join us and keep on this journey. You'll see Better Minds, I'm sure, with us as well in the chat. And so thank you. And thank you again, Trini. Like, this has been an awesome journey, and 24 episodes, and to be at the end of season 2, like we had 2 seasons. I mean, like a year ago, I didn't even know I was going to be on a year and a half ago, I didn't even know we were going to have a podcast, right? Let alone 2 seasons of a podcast. So thank you.
Thank you. And as always, everyone, please walk in your light, shine bright. Peace, love, and many blessings.
Peace and love.
Hey yo, I put my all in these lines. Sometimes I find that my rhymes are my concubine. To elevate thoughts of mine, I articulate thoughts of mine. I search to find the worth of mine on earth and walk the line. Make sure the birth of mine is worth the hurt and serve divine. Could never reverse the time, I swear this life is worth the grind. I serve my purpose in perfect time of a paradigm that exists inside the mind. The bloodlines from an ancient time. Life's a bitch, but ain't she fine? And so I data, check the flow, I know the data. And ode to those that chose to listen to flows I wrote to data. Walk the road I chose, along the road there's no one greater. I hate her and love her, and no, I could never break her. So we never die in vain, cause it's the I that came and overcame the pain that I complained about. The same thing that then made me humane whenever it came about. It reigns over the life, but all of our brains would be insane without. I put my all in these verses and plant my face in a book of these metaverses and move with hella purpose as worthless versus the worthless. The work is deeper than surface, and so my speech is a service in every day of the week in the circus where the berserk is. And if I die tomorrow, tell my children that you heard this and tell them it was worth it. Because the never deaf, never left will forever step on the neck with benevolent epithets. Yeah, I'm hella alive, and in this life I won't survive. And I just hope that I can rise in the face of my own demise and utilize the words of wise on the journey beyond the skies. And look never death in the eyes and realize I'm real-alive. And through never death, never die. And through never death we survive. And through never death I will rise. And through never death I'm alive. And through words that I recorded on record, I'll never die. Never death in every song. You put it on, I will live on. Just play the shit for my children and tell them what I was building, and tell them that I was building a weapon of massive killing for generations of massive villains and cultural passive villains. And just know that I